Hey there, it's Nicola Milan from Singer's Secret, and in today's video I have 4 strategies for you that are going to help you make your 2016 your best musical year ever. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since I did a video for you guys last, and it's because Christmas and December is literally the busiest time of the year for musicians. You probably know this if you're out there gigging yourself. You're doing functions all the time, Christmas parties, and everyone wants you to sing "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." It drives you insane. But now that the big day is finally over, I can actually have a little bit more time to devote back into my videos, regular videos for you, and tips and things like that for Singer's Secret. So coming up, what we've got this in 2016, I'm going to be doing a lot more artist breakdowns for you, because I know that you guys said that you really liked that one I did of Adele's How to Sing Hello. So I'm going to do more like that for you. We're going to be looking at more in-depth technique for singing, and I'm going to be doing videos based on your questions. So if you want to see something covered, so you are struggling with something in your singing, your songwriting, or your performing, and you want me to do a video about it, leave me a comment either here, below any of the videos, on my website singersecret.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook, because I'm on there quite regularly as well, and you could have your question answered in one of my videos. Alright, so for today I've got 4 strategies for you that are going to really help you get your head around goal setting and make sure that your 2016 really hits the goals that you've set for yourself, so that it could be basically your best singing year ever. Strategy number 1 is to do less. So what I mean by this is you got to pick one thing to focus on at a time and just do that. And if you're a creative person like me, you probably find this really challenging, and it is one of the main reasons that a lot of creative people get nowhere in their careers. It's because you have all these different ideas running around in your head. You know, for me personally, when it comes to my music, I'm starting to branch out into a cabaret environment at the moment. So I'm looking at costumes and different show ideas and choreography, and it's a completely new way of performing for me that I haven't had that much experience with before. But I'm also doing stuff with my full 7-piece band, and so it's kind of like horn charts for that and looking for gigs for that. And then I've got my, you know, jazz stuff in my trio. So there's all these different kind of arms to projects that you could potentially be working on. And you probably have other creative pursuits that you do as well. So I do cartooning and art. And even within that stream, you've got different arms of projects that you want to do, because I'm doing I'm writing a book at the moment, and I'm also doing kind of photos where I interact with my cartoons, and then I'm also drawing little bunny rabbits. So, you know, the key focus here is to cut out all of this noise and just think, what is the one most important thing that I need to achieve, let's just say within the first couple of months? And you just focus on that one thing. And when you do this, it means that your energies are not unfocused, and you can laser focus that concentration in on that one task, and you are so much more likely to get it done, and to get it done well. So for me, I'm putting all of these other projects on the back burner. It doesn't mean that I'm going to miss out on them, because, you know, my first task isn't going to take me all year to do. But my first task for the first month and a half, so January and half of February, is just going to be promoting my new single. And that is it. That is going to be my #1 focus. And because I know that every time I sit down at my computer in the morning, or whenever you've got time to work on your music, you're just doing that one thing, that you're going to get it done. So that is strategy #1, do less. Strategy number 2 is to set a practice schedule and stick to it. So when it comes to my singing, I don't need to set a practice schedule, because I don't need someone to tell me to do my singing practice, because I enjoy it so much. However, I know that a lot of singers do struggle with this. So if you're finding that actually practicing and getting started is one of the biggest challenges for you. And let's face it, if you don't practice, you don't improve. And you basically end up on this treadmill of never going anywhere and always wishing you were somewhere, but you don't get there because you haven't done the practice. So if practicing is a problem for you, make it into a schedule, kind of like you would if you were going to a yoga class every week. So Tuesday night at 6 p.m, that's, when you would go to yoga. So that's now my singing practice time, and I'm going to spend 30 minutes practicing my stuff. And you block it out in your calendar and you stick to it. And it only has to be a couple of times a week. So just say depends on, how committed you are, but Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Fridays, at 6 p.m. are going to be your singing practice days, and stick to it. And if you've done it on those days, you can give yourself a big tick. And the other strategy that you can employ with this is, if you don't have time and you've got something else on and you think that it's going to impinge on your singing practice schedule, just do 10 minutes, because at least you're sticking to that schedule and you're getting something done. And remember that your instrument as a singer is your body. It's a muscular instrument, and so consistency is one of the key factors to building muscle strength and getting better at singing. So even if you're just doing 10 minutes, you're still giving your voice a workout. Strategy number 3 is to set a performance goal that makes you uncomfortable and put it in motion so that you have to achieve it. Now, what I mean by this is, if there is something that you really want to do with your music, so say you haven't done much performing and you know that you want to get out there and you want to start singing in public and doing gigs, but you're really scared to do it. So it's a goal that makes you uncomfortable. What you've got to do is, number 1, make yourself accountable. So this is an action step for you. Whatever your goal is, and have a think about it, I want you to write it down in the comments below this video and let everybody know what your uncomfortable goal is. Because once you've told people what your goal is, it kind of holds you a little bit more accountable, because people will know if you've chickened out, if you've said what you wanted to do and then you haven't done it. So that is step number 1. Step number 2 is to put it in motion. So to give you an example, my uncomfortable goal for this year is to move to the UK. So I've lived in the UK before. I have residency there. My family actually immigrated to Australia from the UK when I was really little. I was born in Australia though. I digress. So I've lived in the UK before, but I haven't worked extensively as a local musician there. And it's comfortable for me here in Australia because I know the venues, my friends are here, I know all the musicians, my family's here, it's comfortable. So moving to the UK, basically halfway across the world, is an uncomfortable goal for me. But I've held myself accountable because I've told my publisher that I'm moving. So he's already looking for opportunities for me over there and he expects me to move. And you don't tell someone like that you're moving and then chicken out. So I've held myself accountable and I've set it in motion. So what I've done is I've started booking gigs in London from June, July onwards, which means I have to be there because people are expecting me there. So I've set it in motion and then I will worry about the logistics later. So whatever your goal is, if you want to perform, find a venue that you think would be a really easy kind of first performance opportunity and book a date for a gig. If it's an open mic night, book a date and make it a couple of months into the future if you need to, if you're not quite ready. But once you've got that date, don't change it, but it gives you something to work towards. And there is no better motivation than having that goal to work towards, and you've got other people watching you, making sure that you don't chicken out. And then when you achieve it, it is the best feeling ever. And you've grown so much because you've done this one thing that you were worried about. And once you've done it once, you can do it again and it will become easier and easier and you can go for an even bigger goal next time. And it's a great practice to get into, setting goals that make you uncomfortable and achieving them. And my last strategy is to see the blessings in the failures. failures are not actually failures if you learn from them. And sometimes failures can be blessings in disguise. I'll give you an example. The day before Christmas this year, I received a letter from the Department of Culture and the Arts, Western Australia, which is the government funding body for music grants. So I had applied for a grant to record an album next year, and I had a good chance of getting it because the department has actually funded 2 of my other projects, and we're talking like about $10,000 worth of funding here. So in order to get these grants, and if you haven't applied for a grant before, I recommend that you do it because they really make you set the project in motion. So you have to kind of get everything organized, and it makes you think quite a long way ahead as well. It makes you plan ahead. Anyway, and so there was a lot of work involved in this grant and getting this grant application ready to go, and I could literally taste this album. I had all the musicians lined up, I had my producer ready, we were all excited about it, and then the day before Christmas I got a letter saying that I wasn't successful. Now, I could have gotten really upset about this news, but in actual fact I saw the blessing in the failure, in that if I had done an album at the start of next year, it would have interfered with the launch of my new single, and I'm trying to move to the UK. I mean, that is my uncomfortable goal for the year. That's something that I know that I really want to do and that I have to do to be able to kind of move forward with my music. So if I had gotten the grant, it would have actually made things really difficult for me, and it would have been too much for me alone as one musician, independent musician, trying to do all this stuff by myself to do, plus I would have overextended myself financially because grants never cover the entire project. I would have had to come up the rest of the cash like myself or through funding. So no matter what you're doing with your singing, for example, if you go for an audition and you bum on the day and you stuff up the audition and you don't get the part, it's not a failure if you've learned from that experience and you've gotten performance experience from doing that audition, which means that next time you do an audition, you're more likely to get the part because you've gone through that experience once. Always see the blessings in the failure. It's all part of the journey. So those are my 4 strategies for making sure that your 2016 is your most kick-ass goal-setting year for your music ever. Now, as always, if you want some more free stuff and some free singing training, hop on over to my website, singersecret.com, and don't forget to leave me your accountability uncomfortable goal comment below so you can set that now and you've got something to work towards. It's a really powerful technique. Don't forget to do that. I've got so much more other cool stuff coming your way, and have an awesome New Year's Eve, and please don't get too drunk. I'll see you next year.